I hope you're doing well. Today's video is going to be soft spoken with some gum. I know gum chewing isn't everyone's favorite thing, so just letting you know, I'm going to be doing that in this video. Speaking of this video, the topic of today's video is going to be movies that remind me of my childhood. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 DVDs here. I may not get to all of them. I could do a part 2 as well, but there's some good ones in here. They're kind of maybe guilty pleasure movies, so I'll just get started. So we're starting off with a bang, because as you can see, this is Napoleon Dynamite. A classic. I believe this came out in 2004. Yeah, it says 2004. So we watched this movie fairly often when I was a child. To be honest with you, it's one of the first movies that I remember watching consistently. There's just so many quotable lines in this one. I think my favorite is "Tina, you fat lard," or the Rex Kwon Do scene. Every single line in that scene is entirely quotable. If you haven't seen Napoleon Dynamite, I would highly recommend it. I would say the humor is kind of similar to Parks and Rec, in the sense that it's just people doing kind of ridiculous and odd things, but they're not so odd that they would be out of the realm of possibility, if that makes sense. So yeah, would highly recommend. So the next DVD that I have is the Saturday Night Live Christmas DVD, and this is kind of a compilation of SNL skits that are Christmas themed that took place, I believe, like the 70s, well, you know, since the show started, and then the 80s. There might be some 90s ones here. I don't have a good grasp on like when some of these skits happened. This has the Martha Stewart topless special, the Hanukkah song by Adam Sandler, and there's some church lady on here too. It's just got a really good mix of classic Christmas skits, and I love putting this on at Christmas time. We watch this for a very long time. Actually, fun fact, we ordered this, I believe we ordered it off of one of those commercials on TV, you know, where they're like 2 payments of $15 $4.99, you know, like that. And the first time this was delivered to us, we opened up the case, and there was, it was not the SNL DVD, it was a recording of a very large dance class. And it was like, you know how Zumba DVDs are, where, you know, you'll do the dance with this group on the TV. It was like that, but for just like common dances. Think dances like the Macarena. Anyways, I did the Macarena a lot because that DVD, I loved that DVD. We ended up getting the right one. But yeah, I would recommend this for Christmas time. So, this next DVD is Goldmember, Austin Powers. I was probably watching these movies much earlier than I should have been. When did this come out? So it looks like this was 2002. I remember watching this when I was very young. And the humor in these is not, there's nothing graphic or super gory. I think the great thing about the Austin Powers movies is that the dirty jokes, you only understand them and hear them and notice them in the movie if you're old enough to get it. And so every couple of years, as I would get older, I would watch these back and I would go, oh my god, these are really nasty. I can't believe I was watching these when I was like 7 years old. But I didn't understand the dirty jokes when I was younger because I just didn't know. So I think these are honestly like a really safe watch for younger kids because they're just not gonna know. Next up we have The Phantom of the Opera, and this is the 2004 movie with Emmy Rossum and Gerard Butler and Minnie Driver. I'm trying to remember the other cast members' names. Anyways, my family is just obsessed with this version of The Phantom of the Opera. I can sing all of the songs by heart. I think Emmy Rossum is just one of the most beautiful women ever. Gerard Butler, same for him. Well, he's not one of the most, you know what I mean. All of the vocals in this I just think are so great. You know, I know a lot of people compare this to Broadway and it's just not the same thing. It's a beautiful story with beautiful music, and if you're looking for a new musical or play that has been adapted to a movie and you've never seen this one before, I would highly recommend it. The costumes are gorgeous, the set is gorgeous, but it's the music. It's the music that really makes this an incredible viewing experience. A lot of these movies are 2004 movies. So this next movie is kind of a guilty pleasure because it's one of those movies that only plays on the Hallmark Channel around Christmas time. And this is called A Boyfriend for Christmas. It's a little bit cringy, I won't lie. But it is basically about a girl she's like 13 years old, and she's visiting Santa Claus at the mall, and her wish is just to have a boyfriend for Christmas. And obviously that mall Santa is the real Santa, because that's just how it works in Hallmark movies. And anyways, this guy, Santa, sends her a boyfriend, and he's the perfect guy, and this, but everything is not what it seems. Very mysterious. But it's a very light-hearted, easy watch around Christmas time. We bought the DVD because we found we wanted to watch it more often than it was showing up on the Hallmark channel. Looks like this one came out in 2005. So, this is a great one. This is the first SpiderMan movie. And I watched this a ton when I was little. This is the one that came out in, was it 2002? It's got Tobey Maguire and Kirsten Dunst, and just, I don't think I've watched this in a few years, but it was just such a huge part of my childhood. There was a certain point when we didn't have a lot of movies, but this was one of the movies that we had. And I just loved watching it. I always thought that Tobey Maguire was just the cutest thing ever, and he still is. I mean, this scene, the kissing scene, is just incredible. I was like, peak romance when I was 5. I was like, this is what I want. Next up, a lot of people probably would put this on their childhood movie list. And this is the first Harry Potter movie. There he is. Harry Potter. We've had this copy of the DVD for a very long time. I think this was just when it came out originally. So the first movie did come out in, I think it was 2001. I think it was 2001 that it came out. The only thing that bothers me about these movies is that Harry's eyes are blue. I'm pretty sure that was a huge, like, plot point in the book, was that he had his mom's eyes and his mom's eyes were green. Correct me if I'm wrong. This movie is just so magical. Chris Columbus, the way that these movies were put together, the first few of them especially, felt so magical to me as a child. All of the sets, and especially the Christmas scenes and the holiday scenes were just so, all I can say is they were just so incredible, and I know a lot of people feel that way. And again, this was one of the first movies that I ever watched that I remember watching, and so, you know, that just has a profound impact on a person. And I love going back and watching these because they still make me feel like I'm stepping into another world. Twilight. It's my baby. Sorry, my hair, I just realized my hair is on my face. So, we rented Twilight from the local movie rental store when I was, oops, sorry, when I was probably, well, it would have been 2008. Yeah, we rented it when it went to DVD, and I don't remember liking it at first. My mom was watching it, and I think I was like watching YouTube or something, and she watched it a second time, and I actually paid attention the second time and found myself just utterly infatuated with Edward Cullen, and thus began a whirlwind obsession with Twilight. I believe when Twilight came out, Stephanie Meyer had just released or was about to release the last book, Breaking Dawn. But we purchased the first and second books, Twilight and New Moon, right after seeing the movie, and my mom and I read them so fast. Reading the Twilight books for the first time was like such a wonderful experience for me. I don't know if any of you did this in school, but we had these things called AR points, where you would have to read a certain number of books. You know, books would be worth different points, and when you read one, you would take a quiz on the book, and the Twilight books were worth like 50 points or something. So I only had to read the Twilight books every semester. This one is very special to my, just holds close to my heart, and you know, I know people love to talk badly about Twilight, but in my mind it's a guilty pleasure. Like, the movies are really, I see them as like just one big fan service project for fans of the book. I would love to do more videos about Twilight, maybe flipping through the graphic novels that I have, or reading some of the books. So, this is the last book, DVD. It's probably because I was talking about Twilight that I said that. So this is the last DVD that I have, and this is called 2 Weeks Notice, and it has Sandra Bullock and Hugh Grant. This is from 2002. So, I know this is such a random movie. I'm not even sure how well this did in the box office, if it won any awards. I have no clue. But we watched this movie, honestly, probably every 2 weeks. My mom loved 2 Weeks Notice. It's basically the story of Sandra Bullock is an attorney, and she basically finds herself as the kind of assistant for this really wealthy businessman who, you know, his priorities are all messed up in life. He doesn't care about other people, like, just a lot of, he's just not a great person at the beginning, and the story kind of follows them as they learn more about what the other person believes and all the funny things that happen. I'm not doing a great job of explaining it, but it's just two people who are very different, have very different beliefs, and they slowly end up falling in love. And it's really good. I will give an honorary mention to another one that Hugh Grant was in, and it's about a boy, which I believe was a book. We watched that movie very often. when I was little, and it's a very difficult movie to watch. There are a lot of really dark themes in it, but that's another great one from when I was young. So, thank you for listening in to some movies that remind me of my childhood. Let me know if, you had any similar ones, any of these ones were ones that you also watched when you were little. Would love to reminisce. And yeah, thank you for watching again. Would love any feedback that you have, because, I'm just starting out with this sort of filming setup, so